Welcome to this Arnold Culliford knitwear tutorial on embroidering detached chain stitches on your knitted fabric. This tutorial is part of our Confident Knitting series, 12 projects to teach you 12 new techniques from the world's best knitting designers. Detached chain stitches are also sometimes called lazy daisy stitches, and they've been used in Jeanette Sloan's beautiful Patina Scarf to create these little groups of petals, as well as to create the petals around the main flower motif in the centre here. I've placed a locking stitch marker in my knitted fabric to show me roughly where I want my next cluster of petals to appear. Here's the first one, and I'm going to put the next one here, pointing in this direction away from the locking stitch marker. The first task is to secure the yarn on the wrong side of the work. We're using 2 strands of this lovely Zauber ball yarn, but you may choose to use a thicker yarn and therefore hold it single. It's entirely up to you. Here is the back of our stitch marker. It's a little bit hidden in there, but it's just there. And so we're going to weave in along a row of purl bumps on the wrong side, just to keep the ends tucked out of the way. So we're just skimming along the back of those purl bumps, and we're ending up here just by the stitch marker where we want to be. Pull that through so that the end of the tail is just sticking out of the end of that. And I'm now going to tie a tiny knot here just to sit at the back of the work and keep everything secure. And I'm going to do that by just wrapping the yarn around the needle and then using my thumb to hold that in place. Just ensuring it sits nice and flat on the fabric. So our yarn's now secure here, and we're going to pass the needle through the fabric to the right side, just where that stitch marker showed us we wanted to start our cluster of petals. And we're going to pull the yarn through so that it's taut, but not so hard that we pull that little knot through to the right side. Now that we've come up in the right spot, I'm going to remove the locking stitch marker so that it doesn't get in the way. And we want our set of 3 petals to sit there, there, and there, with the middle one being slightly longer than the others. And the first task is to go back down through the fabric exactly where the yarn has just come up. And then we're going to make the first petal roughly 1 centimetre long. And so we've brought the needle back up so that it's about 1 centimetre away, pointing in the direction we want that first petal to go in. So we've put the needle through the fabric and we're leaving it there for the moment. And we're now going to wrap the yarn around the needle to make a little loop. Once it's wrapped around, we can pull and tighten up our stitch. Just ensure that both of your strands of yarn are equally tight. And if you're happy with how that first petal looks, all you need to do to finish it off is to take the needle back down just at the top of the petal on the outside. So there's the loop, and we're just going outside it at the top there in order to secure it. And that's our first petal complete. We're now going to bring our needle back up through the fabric at the base of the first petal, ready to make our second petal here. Pulling the yarn through so that it's taut but not distorting the top of the previous petal. We're now going to go back down into the fabric in the same spot, and we want our petal to sit out pretty much straight and it's going to be a little bit longer than our first one, so we're going to come up a little bit more than 1 centimetre away. Let's have it like that. We're going to leave the needle in the fabric and we're going to wrap the yarn around it, pull through, and then just adjust the tension so that the petal is sitting nicely. We then go down just outside, there's the top loop of the petal. We're going to go straight down through the fabric just at the top of the petal on the outside of the loop to complete that stitch. And there are our first 2 loops, and then we're going to create the third one in the same way. Here's where our yarns come through on the end of that last of the petals we've just worked. So we're going to make a small knot by wrapping the yarn around the needle and pulling it through. I'm using my thumb to keep the knot in the right place. Oops. So my knot is there just on the back of the work. Pull it tight. And then I'm going to weave the end in along this row of purl stitches, purl bumps at the back of the work, just going up and down under a few stitches just to secure the tail. There we go, we've gone through a row of purl stitches there, and if we pull through, that'll just tuck the tail neatly out of the way. And we're going to snip the tail, leaving a little bit of an end so that it doesn't poke through to the right side. All of the wrong side of your embroidery in this design will be hidden inside the folded loop section of the scarf that you use to wrap the scarf, so you don't need to worry too much about how the wrong side looks. I do hope you'll feel confident in tackling this pretty embroidery stitch on your knitted projects. We're able to produce our video tutorials free from adverts thanks to the support of our customers over in our online shop. If you'd like to find out more about confident knitting, then do visit our website by clicking the link up top here, and you'll find all the information you need over there. And if you've enjoyed this video tutorial, do click the round button at the bottom right hand side to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way you'll be sure to know when we release our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.